Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to another live chat and paint on a Tuesday night, on a hot Tuesday night. It's 25 degrees right now, boiling hot. That's why I've not got the other light on me because it'd be too hot. But I thought I'd do a little paint and chat. Andy's here, other Andy's here. I'll do both of you, and good to have you on board. Give us a shout, everybody who's out there watching. Say hello, hit that like button, the usual stuff. We're having a night of it tonight. I've got quite a few things you can see on the bench here. Richard Hogg sent me some stuff down, so he sent me some 3D printed vehicles. Evening, Jonas, good to have you on board. He sent me these first of all, these staghounds, British staghounds. They're lovely, aren't they? Evening, Battle Bunker, good to have you on board, buddy. So I kind of got these to a point where they are not agraxed, null-oiled. So I'm going to get those dry brushed and then work on some of the stowage. I've got the bases for them to do. I also got the weekend as well. Evening, Carl. Evening, Terry. Good to have you on board. I also got some Matilda Mark 1s as well. These are British tanks. Evening, Pete. Keep cool. I'll try my best. So I thought I'll just get these painted quickly. I got these. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with them. They're very early war. They went out of use in 1940, but because my head's been turned a little bit towards the 1940 campaign, I think they'll fit in there for chain of command. Will they fit in for O Group? Possibly at some point. And the other thing I've got as well is I've got another unit of Landwehr. This is a Westphalian Landwehr. Evening, Richie. Evening, Simon. Good to have you all on board. Like I say, hit that like button if you're watching and liking. I can see a few of you are watching right now. So I've got these to finish off. Another, I think that's my 5th Blucher base of Prussians at this point. So I'm working my way through them slowly. So I'm going to finish them off. I'm going to grass these bases for the tanks, and then I'm going to get on with dry brushing. Ooh, Matilda 1s. I thought you'd like them, Tim. So that's kind of what I'm going to do tonight, is probably just work on these vehicles. Whether I get them finished tonight or not is a different matter, because there's going to have to be some agraxing of the various bits and pieces. So they'll probably get finished off on Friday, because tomorrow I'm going up to Otterburn for the excavations, the Operation Nightingale excavations that we're doing up there. So I'm going to be away until back. I should work for the 1940. Yes, I've got the PDF of it, Lee, but I haven't. I've not printed it out yet. I'm not actually. I bought it just because it was something O Group, so I just clicked it. So I do have it, and yeah, I'm sure that'd work in the O Group. However, I haven't got any 1940 British infantry yet. The British infantry I've got are the Plastic Soldier Company late war ones. And speaking of which, I'm having a big shake-up. I've been thinking about this for the last few days, and I pushed the button today because I was looking at the photos from the game of O Group we played at the weekend, and the Peter Pig figures that I've got, which are about 30 years old now, are going to they're way bigger than the Plastic Soldier Company ones I've got, and also they're just not particularly well painted. Tiny's come to say hello. They're not particularly well painted, so I'm kind of just thinking about. I thought, right, if I get a box of late war Germans, and then I can get a box of some late war Russians, because I've got a load of Russians as well. They're using the Battle of Arras scenario. Oh, excellent. Okay, so that is useful to know. And what I'll do is, I'm going to make them, because you get about 150 figures, and I'm going to make them specifically for O Group, because I'm playing a lot of O Group, and I like it a lot. And then I can also use them for stuff like IB Shot Mob if I need to. I can also use them. Excavations are among the few good reasons to not have time to hobby. I suppose that's true. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then just redesign my entire O Group, and I'm going to actually thin out my 15mm collection, because I've also got tons of figures in there that I just don't use. Like, there's just little bits and pieces that I put together and stuff, and they're all painted in different things. So it's going to be a really big project. Having it back evening, James. It's going to be a big project. But once I've done the Russians and the Germans 4-0 group, I'm going to keep all the tanks and stuff because they're fine. But it's the figures. I'm just going to absolutely thin them out completely, and I'll probably sell them off, I think. Evening decks. And that will free up a load of room because, like I said, I've got 2 Russian rifle brigades from Rapid Fire, which, I never have on the table. So it's like, well, what's the point in having them? They just be sat in a box there behind me for 30 years. Well, not there for 30 years, but, they've been sat in boxes for 30 years, and I'll never do anything with them. So I'm having a big reorganisation of figures. And like I said, I'm going to keep all the Plastic Soldier Company stuff, and I'm going to try to make everything. I'm going to, what's the word? Make it just a bit more single than having loads of little bits and pieces here and there. I'll keep all the Malaya stuff because that's all kind of under one flag, and that all works together. But the Eastern and Western Front stuff, I'm going to, I'm going to have a massive shake-up of stuff. I just thought, it's time to do it, because they are just sitting in boxes doing nothing. So if I sell them off, then somebody else can have some fun with them, can't they? I think that's the way to do it. Sorry you're late. No, don't have to apologise, Tony. Has been to the Feed the Farm annuals. The storm is brewing. There's a storm here as well. Evening, Todd. Early afternoon for us all over the west of the pond. Can I rebase the rapid fire stuff? I already have. Decks. That's the thing, I already have. I rebased it at least once for Pro Group, and it's just, like I say, it's not so much the rebasing of it, it's just because it's all based on Flames of War bases anyway. It's just damn it, the figures are just they don't go together, and it doesn't look very good in a game. I'm just kind of and as I say, the painting on them was done like I'll need them within 8 weeks of getting rid, probably, in that always the way. But I figure I've not used them for at least 15 years, so I think I might be alright. But yeah, it's also just the painting as well, because they're old. I painted them in my old style, and it's not how I paint nowadays. And to paint up two battalions basically for O Group is probably not going to take a huge amount of time, if we're honest about it. I can just work my way through them pretty steadily. So anyway, I'm just doing the basing for the Prussians and the tanks before you all go into fits of the vapours. I am basing my tanks, so I'm just going to get those bases done and get those out of the way, and then I'll work on the actual tanks themselves. That's my plan for tonight. What's everyone else painting tonight anyway, if indeed you are painting, or what you're having for your tea, if indeed you are having something for your tea. But anyway, that's my evening, Rich. That's my my plan, or my next big, should we call it a project. Everybody hit that like button, if you don't mind. And then here's my label for these. Well, there's a reason to go maybe 6mm. Possibly, Dave, but no, I'm sticking with 15mm because I like it. And I can use them in I ain't been shot more as well, you see though. It just makes them a little bit more. I can still use them. I do like 6mm, but the problem is with 6mm is I'd have to get a load of 6mm scenery, and I've already got tons and tons of 15mm scenery. So I suppose I'm just following on with my scenery actually, because I'm kind of changing my scenery up as well at the moment. I got rid of a load of decks, took some off me the other day. So I'm getting rid of old stuff that I don't want anymore. You painted some 1300 French aircraft for Bagdahun, nice. Horus, Heresy, Sons of Horus. Don't even know what that is. Starting to paint some more 20mm 95th rifles. I do know what Horus, Heresy is, I'm joking. Howdy all, howdy Andy. Painting some 17th century scenery, a barn and an outhouse, nice. Evening John, laser party easy, evening. Rich says Armageddon, Steel Legion and Ratmen, very historic, that sounds it. Tonight it's 15mm Selkid Elephants. Too warm to paint, currently in orange. Nice. You were painting 20mm World War II Valiant miniatures while you listen to the chat. Good. They are actually 25mm, even though they are advertised one soon. Is it eye to foot to eye, isn't it? The measurements for 25mm. So that's probably why they look 20mm. 28mm Franco-Prussian War Jaegers, dull green and dull grey. Excellent. Morning, Joe. Charles. Good to have you on board. Excellent. What a mix! What a mix of stuff is going on out there. It's good to see. So yes. So yeah, that's going to be my next big thing. We had speaking of O Group, we had a great game of O Group on the weekend. Met up with James and Jim, the lads from the Shakos and Sprues. He usually posts in here, James. And we had we met up at Element Games over at Stockport, and I don't know if you saw the photos on the community tab of the channel. Put up a couple of pictures up, but we had a great game, really good thing. Right, let's have a look what we're saying. Just good varnished unit of Swedish horse, now undercoating first batch Swedish Yellow Regiment, 28 obs. Good. Wouldn't expect anything else. What do you say, James? This is the thing. You're wondering whether to rebase the Flames of War kits, do something else for Real Group or every shot one, or maybe square bashing. You can use them. It depends how you've got them based for Flames of War, but you can pretty much use them as is. To be honest, for O Group in particular, and A&B Shotman, there's no real change. All you have to do on A&B Shotman is just show how many casualties there are on each base. It doesn't matter. But I'm doing it as I'm cheerfully painting up 15mm German infantry, which I'll probably base up Flames in the meanwhile. Yeah, I think James Cuts, he's been basing his stuff for Flames of War, but then we'll be able to use it in O Group as well, because it doesn't matter how you base in O Group, so just do whatever you're going to do, really. I guess it just gives you that bit of choice to play the different games, doesn't it? And that's that's what you want out of figures. I mean, I don't play Flames of War, I'm not that interested in it, but I know a lot of people are. And that was probably on Dave Brown's mind when he was designing O Group, because a lot of people will have figures for Flames of War, so if you make it easy enough for people to get into it, it's another feather in the cap of the game, isn't it, really? At least that's what I would have thought. I don't think he's that fussed about basing. What are you doing, Charles? You're painting up a few odds and ends and some elves, dwarves, a couple of pirates and some hobgoblins you're not happy with. Nobody's happy with hobgoblins. Not supposed to be, are you? Evil little things, aren't they? Let's get these all sorted. Let's get these out of the way and then they're done, aren't we? What are we all talking about? Any rebasing projects are a decision to make. It's difficult to follow up fashion in games. Something new will crop up. I'm looking at rebasing AK-47. Yeah, Ken, the Archer Gamer, always says don't rebase, and I kind of agree with him, but I had to rebase some stuff for my O Group things. But it is what it is. Drinking coffee and herding cats, excellent. Paid till 1:30 last night, so free coffee and I'm on a mouth got me through the workday, I can imagine. More 50mm Italian Wars on your desk. Finish off some casualty markers and Don Quixote and Sancho Panza commander base. Moving on to militia pike blocks, many pike blocks. Up the 96 men pike blocks. That's the thing, thinking what gives them the most chance of getting a game. Can always get a game of Flames. Yeah, exactly, that's the thing, is yes, it's that being able to fit in. But I'd say, what Flames of War stuff is based on, those medium size based in it with 4 figures. That'd be a section in O Group. Fine. Just make sure you're playing somebody. Make sure you're playing somebody with who's got similar basing. Really, I think that's the only thing. Although as long as you can tell the different sections apart, it doesn't really matter. And then we're supposed to be having a big club game on Sunday, but I don't know if I'm going because it's Lard Workshop this weekend. Anybody going? BrickCon? Anybody down at BrickCon or Lard Workshop? I know James is having a backer because he's playing in my game. Playing in Algae. I hope you've read the rules because I haven't. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to read the rules, aren't I? Bloody hell. Slow down, chat. Can't catch up. I'll look away for a second. I'll have to come back later on and read on the replay and see what you're all saying. That's the problem with these painting chats. I can't do anything that takes a lot of concentration, because I look away and half the chat's disappeared. Let me have a look. What we on about? Hobgoblins make nice beer. Well, that is true. That is true. Chris says he just dropped in to say hello. He got to finish my routes before you can hobby. Well, get it finished and then you can do it. You got half your AK on round and half on square. Round bases for AK-47. Yeah, it looks like militia, isn't it, kind of thing. Nordic Maelstrom, meetings from the sweltering heat of Pennsylvania. Good to have you on board, Woody. Andy's at Lord Workshop. Good stuff. I'll see you on Saturday, Andy. Sage Brother, you're painting Bacchus at ACW with GW contrast. I love the results. Okay, good stuff. Picked up Bacchus World War II at Claymore. Stunning sculpts. Yeah, they're lovely, and they have been kind of making me think about 6mm World War II, but like I say, the problem is I've got so much 15mm terrain, I just don't really want to. You're off to Clotted Lard in September. Excellent. Good stuff. Is it your first time, or have you been before? That'll be a good one. I think that's Bob, isn't it? I think Bob runs that one. Bob Connor. Excuse me. I played in Virtual Lard with him, and I met him at Ebo Lard as well. He was up for that. It's kind of funny when you see somebody when you play a game online with them, and you can kind of only see them through the webcam, and then you meet them in real life, and they're not exactly how you expect, because they're completely different size. So whoa, takes you out of it. It's weird. Right, there we go. A few little grass tufts on those Landwehr. That is the 4th Westphalian Landwehr under von Groben. Or Gruben, who knows? Yeah, Rob Connor, there you are. Right, so that's another set of Landwehr done. Yes, Chief, should be a good Saturday to that. Bring in my brother, who's never played any larding games before. Good, another Lard Virgin. I have some 15mm American War Independence Continentals on the sticks waiting for me to get in the mood to paint them. It's always the way, isn't it? Just stick them, just get them ready, and then just sit them there doing nothing. The Lard Virgin, you will love it, Tim. It's the Lard days are always really good fun. It's what really pushed me over the edge into playing Lardy games when I went to Steel Lard. In fact, I've never looked back since. Sage Brother says, you just watch your Beluga basing video. Thanks for putting it up. About the order, Sally 4th bases. Good stuff. I'm glad it helped. It's a bit of a long-winded system that I use, but it's kind of the one that I did originally, so I kind of stick to it really, because I don't want them. I want them all the same across the 3 armies, because I'm doing a specific project. So that's kind of how I was working it. But you know, take whatever you want out of it at the end of the day. Yeah, Lard days are great fun. Have you been to many yourself, Lee? So here we go. Right, so I'm just going to do some dry brushing on these staghounds. So for this, dead simple. What did I paint them? I painted them in a base coat of I can't even remember. Where is it? Brown violet, but that has been changed now. It's a Vallejo colour. It's been changed to US olive drab, and then Null oil, and then I'm dry brushing them in Russian uniform World War II. That's it. I have to say, I only got into the round base in the first place when I painted the first lot of AK-47. Found it all was some round. Yeah, I like the way they look too. Yeah, in Bristol. Yeah, which one's the one in Bristol? The one, is it the one at Big? Bristol Independent Gamers or something? Is Andy Crow there? I think he goes to that one. I can't remember which one it is in. It's not Oozing Lard, is it? That was the one that was recently. Clotted Lard is the one down, way down south. They're popping up everywhere now, which is good. Maybe a crazy question, but do you ever rebase such as blue 6mm or start over and paint new 6mm for a new wrist system? Well, with 6mm I've only ever done them for Blucher. That's the only thing I've ever done them for. So I don't rebase them. So I've done the British and the French armies because for years I was looking for a Napoleonic set of rules that wasn't too complicated and that allowed fast play, and then Blucher came along and I really liked it. And I just thought this is perfect, and then I just copied the cards because I've always wanted the Waterloo armies in miniature, and I just copied the original cards that Honor produced. So I've never rebased them. They're on the original bases that I originally did, so the project was started about maybe more, 6 or 7 years ago at this point, I think. And it took me a long time to paint the two armies, but I eventually did. And now I'm just getting around to the Prussians, having had a couple of years hiatus on it. Vallejo changed that formula for a lot of the colours. I just had some flat reds in 288 and it's recently replaced it. New farmers looking at the old one. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Gert lard or lush lard? Ah, yes. Yes, there's a good number of them. The more the merrier, I think. Yeah, volume bayonet Road to Glory rules I'm yet interested in using for another game. Debating doing an 1809 Austrian campaign. Excellent, yeah. My interest in that has been piqued by various visits to Vienna to see my wife. We went out to Napoleon's HQ where he crossed the Danube. If you have a look through the videos, I think it's one of the shorts I put up. I can't remember, ages ago. Can't remember if I filmed it. I certainly put some pictures of it on the it'll be on the community tab on Lobau Island. There's nothing there, like it's literally just a little stone that just says this is where Napoleon's HQ was. I went out to Aspen and Essling as well, and part of that, and then that made me buy John Gill's books, the 1809 trilogy, which I'm only part way through the first one at this point, but it is excellent. It's well worth getting. Lots of background, loads of good history in it, and it is and well written as well. It reads really nicely, so check those out if you haven't got them. Thunder on the Danube, that's it, that's what it's called. Highly recommended. Storm of Steel recommended. Is it Napoleon's horse vizier in the Vienna Museum? His little Russian greatcoat is in the Austrian Military Museum in Vienna. That's for sure. I don't know if any other bits are in some of the other bits. There's nothing in the nothing of his in the Aspen Essling Museum. There's bits from the battlefield, stuff that they found, and like bits of uniform and flags and stuff, but nothing of Napoleon's personally. But his little Russian overcoat, long coat, that's in the museum. It's on my video about the museum. If you have a look in my videos, there's a trip to the Austrian Military History Museum, and I highlighted it as a point, so you can see it's on there. You've got the source book for Volume Bayonet dealing with battles along the Danube in detail. Ultimate want to fight all the battles with Wagram and Aspen Essling in particular. 6mm, yeah. Wagram, yeah, maybe there's viziers in. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in Paris. Wagram, I've been out to Wagram. Yeah, it's a good battlefield. There's a walk around it, but we didn't go on it because it was too hot. My wife wasn't feeling well. She always seems to come down with something whenever we're in a military museum or at a battlefield. Not that I'm saying anything. Are you considering having Rich Clark for a live Q&A this year? No, I'm not. But I was talking to Rich earlier on about Lard Workshop, because there was somebody wanting some tickets, and he's invited me down to Lard Island but that'll be next year. So I'm already looking forward to that. And I'm going to catch up with him on a this weekend at Lard Workshop, and I'm going to try to get an interview with him, because I'm going to take my camera along and I'll try and get an interview with him, so I can put that on the hobby update report, because I won't have much else to say really. You went to the Vienna Museum during a partial eclipse. Quite hard to see an SU-152 fade in and out. I can imagine. Yeah, they've got the Panzer Garden, haven't they, out the back. The World War One section is pretty good in there. Right, now I need to work out what colour I'm gonna, how I'm gonna dry brush these Matildas. So if I do bronze green, but if I lighten it a little bit with white, I think that'll do. What are we saying, chaps? Unfortunately, the only battlefields I've been to are Monmouth Courthouse in New Jersey, is reenacted, which is great fun. You've been to Gettysburg more times than you can recount. Excellent stuff. I've been past Gettysburg, but I've never been to it. Probably should have gone. Always worth visiting battlefields if you're ever in the areas. You get a good feel for the action while you're on the ground itself. You see how the lay of the land is, and how the fighting went on around it. Well, we've got 26 people out there. Say hello if you're in the chat. Give me a shout out. Hit that like button as well. Don't forget, Gettysburg's a great place to visit. Yeah, I can imagine, because it's got a really big visitor centre, hasn't it? And lots of self-guided tours around the battlefield as well, which is very helpful. It's always useful when there's that kind of some thoughts being put into these things. It's not always the case. I keep meaning to get out to Waterloo as well at some point. Now that COVID's over, I was going to go before COVID, just before. I was going to go in the summer of 2019, and then COVID hit, so I've still never been to Waterloo despite having a lifelong interest in it. You know, these things just happen, don't they? The problem is it's quite a drive down to the old to the coast from here. That's the longest part. Once you get to the coast, it's only about 2 hours on the other side. Clean these up. Battlefields Trust do great videos of US battlefields. Yeah, there we are. They unfortunately closed down Devil's Den and Little Round Top at Gettysburg for the last year or so for restoration. Oh, well, at least if they're restoring it, it'll be back open. You love going to Gettysburg and up around the Little Top, just up there surveying the field. Visiting battlefields does give you a good perspective of the terrain and how the battle was fought. Yeah, exactly that. That's really it. Battlefield terrain is always intriguing when visiting. Link to the Twitter question today. Yeah, Antietam is very interesting. You can see how the folds in the ground really hid units. Yeah, that's something you don't really think about. You don't get that from maps at all, do you? Just how the folds, just a small fold in the ground. For those Matildas look nice. Waddling death. Mate, we enjoyed a troll. I saw the pictures. Look fantastic. I'm very jealous of that. Most war games don't have realistic terrain. It's hard to achieve. Yeah. Am I doing an early war project with the Matildas? My guess is France 40. Well, yes, I'm kind of drifting towards France 40. I'm not doing it specific. I'm doing it. I've got some French platoon. I got these because I was at Element Games, and they had some of the old blister packs from Flames of War in, and they would just had these, and I just thought I'll just grab them while I'm there. Because I also got some Japanese field guns as well as some British 8th Army mortars and medium machine guns, so I'm going to turn those into melee fighters. Most of you say, yeah, Dex says most war games don't have realistic terrain. Terrain's hard to achieve. In Chain of Command, Rich Clark's always said that the going tactical bit in Chain of Command, which most people don't do, is to to kind of abstract the idea that there are folds in the ground and that they're basically lying down, or not lying down, but they're just behind a bit of cover that you can't normally see on the tabletop. Like you said, Tim, when you're living back in Yorkshire, you had about a mile from the site of Aldwater Moor. Whereabouts is that, Tim? I'm not sure where that is. You've got over 106mm GHQ tanks painted, especially the French 40 as well. Excellent. Should definitely check out the ACW Western Theatre battles. I live in around 50 minutes from Chickamauga, which is the second costliest battle in the casualties. Yeah, I know the names of these places. I know having seen people put them on at Wargaming shows. But yes, I never visited them. I've been to America a couple of times, and I like it. But yes, I've just never been in a position where I was able to bugger off and go to a battlefield. And that's the case sometimes. You some fresh water in here. Bristol Batley. Okay. And what was it? The English Civil War? Aldwater Moor? Or a bit earlier, medieval? Tactical rule is a good rule and could be incorporated into most rules. Yeah, it's easy enough, isn't it? And it's simple. A lot of people ignore it. But it's good because it gives you a -1 to be hit. It means you can't do much, but at least you're not being hit. But yeah, I'm fairly sure he said, I heard an interview or they were talking about it where he was saying that was done specifically to alleviate the problem of tables having just open flat surfaces and no cover, where in reality you'd be hugging the ground as much as possible, wouldn't you? ECW, yeah, there you go. Evening, Allard. Just at the end of the side of the M62 coming out of Morley. Yeah. West Yorks, Leeds, right. Fighting the first Russian O Group models for Marie's army to play some practice games with. Excellent. Nice excuse for another army. Good. Some consider Vicksburg near Chickamauga more specifically than Gettysburg. Okay. Again, I know the name of Vicksburg, but I know very little about the American Civil War. So apart from really just the names of battles that I've seen played out at Wargame shows in the past. I was thinking, they were talking about on the Plastic Crack podcast in passing yesterday, I think the American Civil War seems to have lost a bit of favour in the UK. It used to be quite big, and every time you went to a Wargaming show there was at least always one American Civil War game on. Nowadays there don't seem to be as many, or it might just be me, I'm not sure. Planning a trip to Belgium next spring, tapping Edmund Admiral Waterloo and the Belgian Army Museum in Brussels. A bit of football and some half decent beer. Nice. It's always good to add various interests to your itinerary, isn't it? I live right between the last three battlefields of the Sweden-Rus War, 1808-1889. Interesting places, but no memorials, much information on set. Yeah, that's the same with the ones in Austria. The 1809 campaign stuff. There's some stuff at Wagram, very little at Aspen-Essling. As I say, there's literally where Napoleon crossed the Donau. There's like literally just a stone that just says this is where his command point was. Does O Group have supplements for USMC vs Japanese? Not yet. Think about venturing to O Group for the Pacific. It's not yet, but it will be coming. There's only one man who's writing them, so it's going to take a while for them to come out. But the next one, I think he said, was Eastern Front, because he was on a Plastic Crack podcast last night and he was saying, yeah, next one's Eastern Front. He has talked about doing airborne for Normandy. That's set to come out. He did mention the Far East, but I don't know if that was just to appease me to stop me asking a question. And but you'd be able to work it out easy enough. All you have to do is just get a battalion guide, and then they're going to be pretty simple. since most battalions by that point are pretty similar, and there's plenty of information online about these things. It was more significant that Chickamauga, but casualty-wise, Chickamauga was more costly than Vicksburg. Vicksburg were the days of Gettysburg. U.S. Grant concluded a long struggle on the Mississippi, split in the South. You've been studying the American Civil War since you were a kid. It's an interesting period, but as I got older, I lost interest in wargaming period, fortunately. Yeah, but your knowledge is vast. Well, that's good. Nothing wrong with knowledge. Costs nothing to carry about. It torn between going back to my epic ACW project and starting an old group crossfire project after I finished these two non-Napoleonics. The eternal struggle of the wargamer. Where do you go next? What battles or period the ACW are you working on? Go on, there's a load of you watching. 33 of you watching. Tell me what you're painting. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're planning on doing. If you've got any questions, check them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. As I paint these staghounds. These are really, really nice models. Well chuffed with Richard for sending them through to me. 3D prints is the way to go. It really is. It's making me even consider buying a 3D printer. I was supposed to be getting one from my mini factory, but it never showed up, so I don't think it's ever going to happen. There's one statue that basically just says the motherland ate its children. Fair enough. Generic Civil War, more of a gamer than a historian. Fair enough. I did epic ACW, far too much work. Good 28mm or 6mm backers. Are they hard to paint? Those box sets are pretty big. And there's a hell of a lot of figures in them. I wonder how many people bought them and they just sat on their shelves. Not doing a great deal. It's quite daunting when you see all those things at once. If you've got nothing else to break them up with, you need a little bit of a palette cleanser every so often, don't you? I think. Or maybe you can just sit down and bash them out. I don't know. I probably won't be able to. Use the big brush. Stop fixing mistakes. There you go. Bang. 6 hours for 2 full sprues. How many sprues were in there? Was it Wilco primer and matte varnish spray that you should use on the other day? No, I shall. Wilco primer. Can't remember. Yeah, I've used Wilco primer in the past, but tonight's was, yes, it was in fact. Look, it's this. There you go, Wilco spray paint. This is what I was using on my on these vehicles that are on the table now. So that's the Wilco spray paint, about £4, and then the varnish is this stuff, Winsor & Newton Professional Matte Varnish. Don't know if you can see that. Make sure if you are getting it, get the professional artist stuff, because the other stuff is slightly glossy. That stuff is matte. It's as matte as anything. Where we are. Finish on planning a few hundred AUDI troops, 77 for the company. Afterwards, I debated between 100 wars, Crusades, English Civil War, 1809. Wow, big choices. You're working right now, but going to be finishing some basing on Perry's. Wars of the Roses this evening. Excellent. Static Grass. Hard to paint, yes, but too much effort into them. Your conclusion, 20 wasn't much more work. Fair enough. Evening Doug. Just having a flick through the bolt action rules. Put those down and pick up chain of command. 24 sprues. Just bought PSC early German army set and dreading 144 figures. Some lightweight. Just break them down into small amounts, Tim. That's all you can do. 20 at a time. You'll soon get through. You think Warlord missed a trick with their epic rangers? I don't understand why their unit frontage is no different to a 28mm black powder unit. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. Why are you thinking they should have been smaller? You can also make them smaller, can't you? I mean, just do them in centimetres. change inches for centimetres or whatever. I don't really know how it works. I think I've only ever played one game of Black Powder. I didn't even know I was playing it. So I don't really know what the unit frontages are supposed to be or anything. I thought unit frontages were something were a thing of the past these days. I'm surprised to hear that they haven't. We just had a new war memorial erected on our housing estate, Princess Anne, coming to opening next month on the Colonel of Sherwood Foresters, which includes the Worcestershires. Yeah. Good stuff. I was just watching the Windsors earlier. I like Princess Anne in that. A ghost floating around. But yeah, I don't know much about the epic stuff at all. I was considering buying a few of the sets when they first released it, but only really to sell on. But everybody was doing it, so there's just no point. You'd be lost in a sea. So yeah, when it comes time to sell my 50mm stuff, you don't care for the Warlord Epics. The issue is how the models are modelled. You can't split them up, can you? That's the thing. Yeah, they're in a line, aren't they? And that's it. You can't do much with them. I thought some people had been able to cut them down, but they probably need quite a bit of sculpting once you have cut them down. They're probably quite difficult to cut, I would have thought. What was I going to say? When it comes to selling me figures, I'm thinking about what to do about it. Whether to put them on eBay, or whether to actually just build a Shopify website and sell them through that. I don't know which one's going to be cheaper, because eBay take a percentage of your sales, but you can set up the Shopify thing for free. I think it's for a month. You can get a free thing, and you know, everything is there, the shopping cart and everything. We've done it before in the past when I was selling Viking jewellery a few years ago, so I know how to do it. It's not a difficult thing to do, but I just thought it's a bit more of a permanent shop, isn't it? And then perhaps, you know, I could actually turn it into a permanent shop that's tied into Storm of Steel, if it goes well. Then I don't know. The thing is, with eBay, people are searching for stuff, aren't they? That's the thing. Evening, Jim. Hello, everyone. Hope you say Jim here. I think I arrived not when the stream is ending for once. No, I'm just going to finish now, Jim. Now you're here. You can cut them down, but then you have to green stuff up. So yeah, I thought that might be the case. Yeah, perhaps they should have done the moulding better so you could cut them easier. But then I suppose they're making them for a specific game, aren't they? And that's the thing, they're selling them for a game. Gary says, you finally got back to the bench today. Start basing some figures, 20mm Helheim, and assembling some ruined buildings. You'll be able to undercut them tomorrow. I'm sure you can hobby them apart, but why bother when you can just buy 50mm miniatures and not join together? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? Yes, Dex. Estate is on the site of the old barracks. One of the other friends of General here got on the parish council. We've got some grants. I've got a superb statue. Excellent. Cut the epics in hard. Just go with the 3-foot rule. I created 1/3 and 2/3 width stands to enable long street. Good. Has anyone brought any 28mm TT combat buildings? Are they worth it? I think I've got maybe got a couple of the futuristic ones for Juice Dread. I think they were TT combat. Like all MDF buildings, Tony, they need a bit of work, because otherwise they just look like MDF slabs put together. You're early today, Jim. Absolutely. Yeah, TT combat stuff's pretty good. They are good, but I think you just need a bit of work on them. Like everything. Even Sarissa, who are fantastic. Their MDF stuff's ace, but you still need to cover up join lines and things. I do it with plaster of Paris. Not plaster of Paris. What's it called? This stuff. Where is it? Where are we on? Filler. That's it. Interior filler. Polyfiller. You've got some of the TT Combat 15mm stuff. It's basically okay. Fit together well. And a good base to decorate yourself. Yeah, you see, there you go. You need to do some stuff. Unfortunately, I've got to head out. Oh, well, thank you for popping in. I need to get my 5-mile walk in. Daylight is burning. Well, good luck with your walk. Thank you for popping in. It's been a pleasure. Hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Same with the rest of you in here. 30 people watching. 17 likes. Get that sorted out. Hit that like button there. You're counting on free coffee at work tomorrow. 2, and picking up the paintbrush again. Oh, dangerous, man. If you're going to be painting till 1:30 again. Take it easy. You're burning the candle at both ends. You're all talking too fast. I'm not getting these painted. Paint's drying out before I can get it on the things. I jest, of course. They're lovely vehicles, aren't they, Staghounds? They look great. I've been meaning to get some for ages. So, I'm well chuffed that Richard sent me some. You're playing AK-47 down the club, aren't you, this week, Dex? Are you going to be using those Russian buildings I gave you the other week? All MC is just a base. Got a Furtland for a good finish, absolutely. MDF, I think you mean, MTG. You ordered around 2 village cafes and 1 terrace, 28mm skirmish. Just checking if there will be good on the table. Yeah, there will be. They'll be fine. As I say, you just need a little bit of work. If you have a look at the one of my latest videos, the one about building the colonial house, that's an MDF kit. And that just goes through the stages of just making it look less MDF. I'm no expert, but I don't want them looking like it. Terry says you hate most MDF buildings, much prefer resin 3D, you can wash and dry brush. Yeah, I agree with you. But having said that though, I like MDF in that when you paint it, it kind of gets absorbed by the MDF. I kind of like that look. It looks weathered already when you do it, if you do it right. But it does feel like they need a lot more work on them than 3D printed ones or resin cast ones, that's for sure. Is anyone going to the Yorkshire Wartime Experience this weekend? Thanks. Whereabouts is it, Harrier? I'm not, because I'm going to Lard Workshop, and then I'm going to our club is having a games day on the Sunday, so I might trot down to that as well. So I'm out for the Yorkshire Experience. Didn't even know it was going on, but I'm sure it'll be fun. That's what I was going to say, Alex. That Colonial House video was smashing. Oh, thank you. Very tempted to get onto the. Yeah, it's a pretty basic kit, James, but it just needs a little bit of work. It's not, and it wasn't much either. It didn't take me long to do. And then you can use it literally anywhere there was a colony. You know, it works. There, it's like North African, but if you just paint it a slightly different colour, you don't paint it blue, because a lot of stuff in North Africa is blue. You know, yeah. Quids in. I got another one. I got a smaller one. They've got their courtyard room building, which I've yet to build, but I will do soon. I keep meaning to do it, but just use it for Malaya. Evening CC, fashionably late. Good stuff. Hunsworth near Cleckheaton. Okay. Got a new guy coming to give it a go. AK-47 for the win. Is that someone you're bringing, or is that James? I saw that James said he'd jump in on the AK-47 game, but that's good. World War II British armoured cars, fascinating mix. Yeah, Staghounds are nice. In fact, the most World War II armoured cars are nicer than the tanks. That's true. Yeah, like the Humbers and stuff. I had ordered enough Sarissa MDF to make a World War II desert airfield. Excellent. Yeah, Sarissa. They are head and shoulders above most people when it comes to making MDF. They're so clever with their designs. that they're the ones that look the least like MDF. But they still, it still looks like MDF, but not as much as some other people's. So you don't have to do as much fucking about with them, but you still have to do some tittifying them. But yeah, and they're just getting better and better. I've seen some of their new stuff, and it just looks fantastic. Like, you just think, how are you doing that in MDF? But they do. I don't know how they do, but they do. Right. That's always done. Richard's here. Hello from Toasty, Virginia. 33 degrees. Oof. You're painting some 10mm slingers and rolling both. Someone completely new, not James. Excellent. You're still on for the PSC. Are your decks in a couple of weeks? Not this week, not next week, the week after. I hope so, because I got it all printed out the other day. I'm looking forward to it. Looks like the Germans have got real hard work on their hands. I think I'm just going to get my arse handed to me. Empires at War Building. Yes, they are. I've got one that I use for sharp practice, and occasionally for chain of command. And they're nice. Again, they need quite a bit of work on them, but overall they're pretty nice. Oh dear me. I don't think I'm going to get very far tonight, to be honest, because it's starting to warm up here. It's getting pretty bloody hot. 29, let's go, let's go. You're looking for building your background project, African houses and shacks. 1978 Kolweski. Okay. For shacks, I don't know how useful they'd be, but you might want to have a look at Sarissa's Far East stuff. They've got some little jungle terrain. These are the same ones that I used in the old group game that you played in, Tim, at Crackcon. I don't know how African they look to you, but they might work. It's worthwhile having a look. Let's have a look. You spotted some stag hounds or watching a documentary on Nicaragua Revolution in the 70s. Got a couple of my post-war. Excellent. Lee says you think games today put equal amounts of time into creating nice terrain for their games, which is nice to see. Always gives you inspiration when going around shows. Yes, I slowly came to the realisation that to me terrain is definitely equal to the figures. The amount of time that we spend painting figures really nicely, but then a lot of people ignoring terrain just seems a bit strange to me. You know, to have a beautiful battalion of French Napoleonic infantry advancing over a bottle green NDF table just seems crazy. And it doesn't take much either, really, just bits of scatter. But also I enjoyed painting it anyway, because it's kind of like it's a nice little modelling challenge when you're doing an individual house or something. You can let your imagination go a bit wild with colours, and then with weathering and stuff like that. I've been purposely trying to up my terrain game, because it's to me, Wargame's about immersion. You know, it's about I'm not bothered so much about the winning or the losing. Of course I like to win, everybody does, but you know, I like the game. I like being involved in it, you know. And that's the thing that attracts me to it. So I've always liked military modelling and the vignettes that they do, and I've always liked. I've never been into it, but I've always liked model train sets and looking at them and the detail they put into them. And I think you can achieve that quite easily on a wargaming table. You know, just with a little bit of effort. It's like even stuff like just adding a garden to your buildings. You know, it separates it from just being a building with nothing around it to it actually having, you know, like a lived-in look. You think gaming mats have certainly helped? Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, agree with that. Agree with that. That has been quite a big revolution, hasn't it, in wargaming anyway. Just the fact that you're able to buy something for about 70, 60, 70 quid and just throw it on the table and it looks great. And even just using, you know, a particular type of mat. Like for the game on Saturday at the Lardy's event, I've just got an aerial mat with hexes on it, but it looks fantastic. It looks really good. Better than anything I could ever do. You're right about the mats, it makes a big difference. Indeed, indeed. A very big difference. Oh dear. Now, should I throw some stowage onto these Matildas? That's the eternal question, isn't it? Do they need it? I thought I was going to be able to get through some of the stowage on those staghounds, but I'm not going to be able to do it tonight. I'm just coming up on an hour. I'm going to paint the black on these Matildas, and I think I'm going to leave it because I want to go and watch Better Call Saul, because I probably won't get a chance before the end of the weekend now if I don't watch it tonight. And I'm almost at the end of the season now, so I'm just going to. So I'm going to finish these off and then just have a relax, because I've got a big old drive up to Otterburn tomorrow. It's about 3 hours. And it's a boring drive as well. Not very interesting. It's just straight up the A1. But it should be an interesting site. Looks like they've already started work on it from what I saw on the old on Twitter. Somebody had posted pictures from the site. And today I was at Lodgemore Prisoner of War Camp discussing that project, which is going to start in a couple of weeks as well. Hills remain a challenge though, or sloping terrain. Yes, but you could do it with what they call them, fleece mats. I think they're better for it than cloth mats for having the folds go over. You put some bits on yours from the Red Dog stuff. Yeah, I've got another set of that, and Rich Hogg also sent me some more as well. So I'm going to. I forgot to put this on earlier, but I'll paint it separately and I'll stick it on. I'll put bits on. I always like a bit of stowage on my tanks. Military vehicles are always covered in stuff. You've just stopped painting, it's too hot to paint, just point traits on you in the bush. What do I listen to on long drives? Well, tomorrow, Andy, as I am driving up around about 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll listen to James O'Brien on LBC. But today, when I was coming back from Lodgemore, I was actually listening to Little Wars TV's podcast about writing wargames rules. I was listening to the last episode of that. And before I went on the way out, I was listening to the end of one of Yorkshire Gamers' podcasts, just catching up with the end of that. So that was it depends really. So yeah, a bit of talk radio, a bit of podcasts. I've got a few other podcasts that I generally listen to, like Adam Buxton. He does a funny one, but I've listened to most of those. I was listening to one about Breaking Bad, and I was just going through each of the episodes and how they were made and stuff. That was interesting. I listen to sometimes Drawn to the Flame, which is an Arkham Horror podcast, but I've not listened to them for a bit. They're quite nice. So yeah, quite a lot of podcasts really. God's Own Scale, of course. Sometimes it depends on who's updated their podcasts. I'll listen to them. So a bit of a mix, Andy, is the bottom line. Right. Well, I've got the black on for all of these. There's still a bit more to do, like the stowage and stuff, but as I say, it's getting a bit warm now. It's 25 degrees, and it's feeling pretty peaky. Let's just have a look at these. There's some of the bases. They're pretty much done, ready to go. There's a plane going over. Sounds like a Merlin. Doesn't really. Sounds like a Cessna. Well, that's all the bases done for those at least, so they're done. I'll probably finish these. Like I said, I'll probably not get a chance to finish these until Friday night. I wouldn't say. Because Saturday I'm out all day early, and then Sunday I'll probably be out all day as well. 12 degrees. Worlds apart. Right, folks, I am going to shoot off at that. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you like the chat, hit that like button. And I will say good night to everybody, and thanks once again for everybody for tuning in. That's got broke the back of some of my stuff. I hope everyone's enjoyed that, and I shall see you on the next Storm Steel video, which is coming out on Friday. I can't remember what it is, but keep an eye out for it, and I shall see you then.